it was a glorious day in St. Petersburg, Florida, as the Texas Rangers, behind a terrific performance from Nathan Eovaldi, the young man Evan Carter, who has shined bright on the big stage of the MLB playoffs so far. In fact, Rigo, hit me with cut number 4, because my man has gone smooth off so far in these playoffs and has got Rangers fans loving the way he's performed so far.
Now 2 outs. Carter the batter with the runner at third. And that one is swung on and hit deep to right. Way back there. That ball is history. The kid has done it again. Evan Carter with a laser 2-run homer. The Rangers lead 4-0. He has not made an out in postseason in 6 plate appearances, 3 extra base hits, and 3 walks.
The Hall of Famer Eric Nadel on the call today. That was part of a terrific 4th inning for the Texas Rangers as they put up 4 runs, starting with Adolis Garcia with his solo shot to begin that 4th inning in what was an all-around great game today. Now the attention turns to the American League Division Series, which begins on Saturday, Reg, when the Texas Rangers go to Baltimore to begin their 7-game series.
Am I gonna be the Debbie Downer again? You bet your bottom dollar. This is the team in the AL that I think is like, clearly they are the 1 seed in the AL, but it felt very clear that this was like the cream of the crop, and everybody else was going to contend for second. And after that, I've been penciling the O's into the World Series at this point. Now, of course, you hope that the Rangers, and the way that they have shown offensively in these first 2 games, are able to do something against them. But I have a few concerns that I'm going to speak on.
Okay.
Here. First of all, I would like to use this opportunity to very much praise the starting pitching that your Rangers have gotten in the wild card series. When you talk about Jordan Montgomery going 7, you talk about Nathan Eovaldi going 6 2/3, and both of those were really, really good. Now, of course, remember, as the A17 reminds us, it's a best of 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it is a best of 5. I'm sorry. The DS. I'm sorry.
Who is your starting pitcher? Because you were already asking that question for a potential game 3 in the wild card series.
Well, based on the way this is going down, today's Wednesday. Jordan Montgomery started yesterday.
Start him on short rest?
You can possibly start him on short rest.
Come back around to Eovaldi on short rest?
It's for me, I guess I'm looking at either Jordan Montgomery or Dane Dunning starting game 1 of the American League Division Series.
And Dane Dunning, remember we talked to Mike Bassick last night, and one of the things that he mentioned is that even if Dane Dunning started, that might not be like you might not be getting or hoping for a complete start in that instance. You might be getting a few innings, maybe like 3-4 innings, and then bullpen after that. And one of the things that we talked about was hopefully limiting your bullpen in some ways, understanding the limits that they have displayed over time. You only had to use 3 bullpen arms in the wild card series. That's not going to be the same thing. It's already been announced that Dane is pitching. Okay, so I missed that announcement.
I had not seen that. Okay.
Now, where I haven't seen an announcement, of course, our great Tolos on the truckwreck.com text line, 877-881-1053. Let me know if you've seen it, because I just ran a search again. The Orioles have not specified, at least to my knowledge, who their starters are going to be. Likely it'll be Kyle Bradish in game 1 and Grayson Rodriguez in game 2. Kyle Bradish, clear ace for the Orioles, has a 2.83 ERA through the season. 2.83 through the season, and through his last 7 games has a 2.20 ERA. That's a bad man.
Oh boy,
that's a bad man as a starter. Now maybe you think, especially with the bats that this team has, hopefully you get him out of the game, knock him out of the game relatively early. Again, it's the postseason. If you can threaten enough, you might be able to get into the bullpen. Orioles bullpen has been a monster all season, right? And obviously Felix Bautista is like a legitimate closer that, unfortunately for them, they lost when he tore his UCL. Now, when it comes to the Orioles, their ERA in 128 games through August 25th, when Bautista tore his UCL, they had a 3.55 ERA. Remember that number, 3.55. Their Orioles bullpen ERA in the 34 games after that was a 3.54.
Okay.
So, like, this pitching is going to be tough.
Yeah.
You are going to have to make it.
You got your work cut out for you.
Absolutely. It's going to be tough for you offensively against this team. So, you're going to have to be really solid. Again, you had great approaches at the plate in this wild card series. I don't know if you can turn that up, but you're going to need to keep it at the same high level, good eye, good approaches, because this is going to be a team that is tough to battle when it comes to the pitching that you're going to be seeing.
Shout out to the 860 said that Jared Sandler had discussed that. I had not had a chance to listen to the pregame or the postgame, I should say, afterwards when the Rangers took care of business against the Tampa Bay Rays. But look, at the same time, when you look at what's going on for the Texas Rangers based off of what they've done so far in the series, what I'm expecting now moving forward is how much do these young guys continue to show up in these big moments, because we saw not just Evan Carter today, but also Josh Young and how well he performed in the clincher for the Texas Rangers today as well. Can these youngsters continue to put forward the kind of performances the way that they have done so far in the postseason to help this Rangers team? If you can get those contributions from those guys as well, you obviously have seen Adolis Garcia had the home run today as well. Seager, Simeon. If you're going to get these contributions from these young guys, you got yourself a good chance, even with how good Baltimore is in terms of what they present from a pitching staff standpoint.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to see these Rangers go up against the Baltimore Orioles. But look, man, I think that you're playing great baseball right now, which is great, right? Obviously, you want to be playing your best baseball this time of year. I just know that that's a really tough team to face off against, and they're going to make it tough on you. I imagine they're not going to have the same issues that Tampa had, which, by the way, were you surprised to see Tampa again playing relatively poorly in the field?
Unserious on the defensive side for the Tampa Bay Rays. Kevin Cash got a lot of explaining to do with his ball club, because it did not feel like they came up and were ready to play at all in each of these first two games, in both of the games of the series. And it showed in the field in particular with how sloppy they were defensively in both of these ball games. So, yeah, Kevin Cash got a lot to answer for, because for Tampa to be as good as they were throughout the regular season, to come up extremely small in the wild card round against the Texas Rangers, yeah, he's got some questions that he needs to answer this offseason, because that team has been too good for them to have the kinds of results and not being able to make it deeper, especially this year with the talented team that they have.
So real quick, I want to let our listenership know, and Rodrigo, please help me with this because you're the one who's seeing it. Correct me if I'm wrong. You said flash flood warning for Dallas County?
Yeah, that would be in Dallas County and Rockwall, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
Okay, so y'all be safe out there. There's a flash flood warning for Dallas County and Rockwall, as my friend Rodrigo is letting me know. So yeah, be safe out there. I see a lot of folks out there.
Rockwall.
Okay, yeah. So
okay.
If you could double check for me how long that one is underway for, because obviously, KG, you're going to be in place until 11 at least. So we'll see if that continues through when you were supposed to be on the roads.
Hell, I might need to spend the night at the Star in Frisco at that game. Which my wife would not be too thrilled about. But no, at the same time. Look, man, and from the TruckRed.com text line, 877-881-1053 from 972, steal a game there. If we play this way, we've got a chance. And look, you're a team that's playing with house money. You feel good, obviously, about what you did in Tampa. You've got terrific starting pitching performances from Jordan Montgomery and Nathan Eovaldi. The offense was really good in this series as well. And now you got a chance against the best team in the American League to go in there, play free, have fun, and let's see what happens in this series where you're not picked to win against Baltimore. But if the offense, which was arguably the best in the American League and statistically was the best in the league in the American League all season long, let's see what that looks like against that pitching staff and whether or not the challenge is accepted by these hitters to be able to make something happen and be able to steal maybe game one in this series to make sure that you have a real legitimate chance to maybe beat Baltimore in the division series.
So that flash flood warning I was telling you about goes till 12:15 a.m. So it's gonna be tough out there. Be careful. Now, KG, did you see that Obviously, we talked about how DeGrom, Scherzer, whole bunch of Cy Youngs that are sitting on the sideline right now because of injuries. Max Scherzer had another step in his rehab. Apparently, he had a intense bullpen session today for more than 3 hours before the game. And apparently, according to Evan Grant at Dallas Morning News, twice he emphatically shouted, "Finally." So it sounds like there's a level of kind of relief on him. He seems excited to be getting that opportunity to have like a full bullpen as opposed to kind of like a light bullpen, which he had done last week. Now, of course, what's interesting to see in the recovery process is how he responds to that. Because last time he had the light bullpen, and he said that it, quote, amplified the soreness in the muscle. So obviously how it reacts is going to be necessary. But if that's good, if there's a good reaction to that on the backside, maybe, just maybe, provided that your offense continues to play the way that you needed to, provided the entire team shows out the way they need to, you can maybe just maybe see Max Scherzer back on the field in a way that's real. Because I understand, like, we've had these conversations in kind of the abstract, but it all felt so far away that I wasn't wanting to engage with it. This feels just a little bit more tangible now.
Yeah, Tim Kirchin of ESPN was detailing during the game that, reaching 90 miles an hour in terms of the bullpen session that he was throwing today. I still don't think, though, that you will see him, obviously, in the division series. My guess would be you probably wouldn't see him even if they made it to the American League Championship Series. The earliest, I feel like, would be if you were able to get him back for the World Series, if you make it that far, then that's where you would see a Max Scherzer, still maybe a few weeks away from returning. But as you mentioned, another positive step moving forward for him, and he's getting closer to maybe being a contributor to this team during the postseason. But I'm not bringing Max Scherzer back until you feel confident that he is as close to 100% at this point in the season as he can be, given the stakes of what you're dealing with, obviously, in the postseason right now. So, look, I'm happy, though. This is my Mizzou guy, man, Max Scherzer. So I'm happy to see him get out there and handle business. But more importantly, the Texas Rangers win the wild card round, and they take out the Tampa Bay Rays with the clean sweep today. Shout out to a gutsy performance from Nathan Eovaldi. A lot of talk about how poor he was, obviously, during the second half of the year, continuing to rehab at the major league level, put together one hell of a performance today when his team needed it most to help them advance to take on the Baltimore Orioles. That division series begins on Saturday. By the way, that game one on Saturday, 12 o'clock, high noon. There's going to be a lot going on between Texas, OU, the Rangers taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Like, a lot going on Saturday, mid-morning and afternoon. So a lot to tune in if you are a fan of those two teams in particular.